Still in Glasgow, still in a hotel. Hope you're enjoying the lovely oil painting behind me. A bit more scenic than my my normal abode. Got a horrible hangover today, but let's get into this. Adrien Broner versus Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people talking about this fight. A lot of people believe that the alleged social media beef between the two guys is in the run-up to Mayweather spectacularly returning from retirement. Who could have predicted that? And to organising this fight. There's even some of the more cynical amongst us who think these guys are two good mates. Both of them are trying to help the other one out, get a big payday. So let's talk up the fight. Let's make it interesting. Let's get the public involved, and let's go from there. I'm sceptical. I'm someone who doesn't necessarily buy into conspiracy theories easily. Part of me thinks that Adrien Broner, Floyd Mayweather, they're both very egotistical guys. They're very quite loudmouth type characters. Neither of them have a problem with their private business being out in the media and known. And part of me thinks that it could legitimately be an argument between two guys, at least one of whom, in Adrien Broner, isn't probably the brightest bulb in the box. But anyway, let's talk about this as if the fight were going to happen. I would be frustrated, and I'd be frustrated with both guys. Floyd Mayweather, if he were to come back, if he were to have a 50th fight, I'd like to see it against an opponent who provides genuine intrigue. Do you know what? I didn't even stay up to watch Mayweather-Berto last time out. I didn't. The fight just didn't have that much interest for me. And I'm not saying he's got to fight someone who I necessarily believe is going to beat Mayweather, but it's got to be someone who at least will pose a question. Amir Khan would pose a question. Kell Brook would pose a question. Keith Thurman would pose a question. Any one of those guys would. Whereas for me, Adrien Broner, he isn't going to beat Floyd Mayweather. For Adrien Broner, as I've done a few videos on my channel, I am actually a fan of the guy as a boxer, and I've been a bit frustrated with him on several occasions because he does some really, really, really good things, and then he spoils it by fighting in the wrong weight class and fighting the wrong kind of opponents. He got badly exposed by Marcus Maidana. So why is it that he then tried to fight Sean Porter, who was obviously and predictably going to cause him exactly the same problems Maidana did? It was a poor decision. And for me, Broner really has the potential to be a top fighter. And I mean that, a real top fighter, if he can take his weight seriously, sort out his out-of-the-ring habits and fight at £140. My concern is, he's stepped up in weight several times now. Even, he hasn't been making the 140 regularly. My concern is that realistically, he doesn't have the drive, he doesn't have the determination, and he doesn't really see himself as a £140 fighter anymore. And I think that's why it's kind of leading him to take the big fights at 147, the big paydays, and he's getting exposed. And realistically, he's been exposed twice by Maidana and Porter. If it happens again, it's difficult. And every time he steps into the ring and fights at a higher weight class, it's going to be more hard for him to go down and fight at 140. For me, I think Adrien Broner's got a chance of beating Postol, Matisse, Provodnikov. I'd pick Terence Crawford over him, but at 140 I think Broner stylistically has the size and has the skill to cause those guys problems and to beat some of those top guys. But at 147, I just see him as too small. I mean, guys can impose their will on him too much. And as someone who's a fan of Adrien Broner, I'd prefer to see him in the lower weight classes because I think he's going to be more of a problem, to use a pun, and be more competitive there. All in all, I'm just underwhelmed. I think that Mayweather, if he's coming back, should fight a top name. I think Broner should be fighting at 140. That's it. Nothing more complicated than that. So it's not a fight that really gets me excited. Stylistically, how would I see it breaking down? Let's be honest. Adrien Broner models himself on Floyd Mayweather. He's just not as good. He doesn't move as well as Floyd Mayweather. He hasn't got the foot speed. He hasn't got the footwork. His defence isn't as refined. I could see it being quite a dull fight. I could see it being low volume from both guys. I could see neither guy really hurting each other. And I could see Floyd Mayweather winning in what would be quite a dull jab affair over 12 rounds. I don't really give Broner too much chance in the fight. Mayweather's just so experienced, and he's going to have sparred with Broner, he's going to have plans for Broner. Broner's not really going to do anything that's going to surprise Floyd Mayweather. I don't see it as a competitive fight. I'm sort of build up the press conferences, the hype, the beef. I'm sure it'd be hilarious. I'm sure there'd be some highlight reel quotes and incidents along the way. For me, as a fight fan, there are better matchups out there for both guys. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. How do you see it going? Do you think it will happen? Thanks for watching.